Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that is incredibly important when it comes to understanding our planet's energy sources and their impact on the environment. We're talking about fossil fuels, what they are, how they form, how we use them, and why they are such a significant part of our modern world. I hope this information will give you a deeper understanding of the role fossil fuels play in our lives and the world around us. Stay tuned, and as always, I wish you good health, happiness, and curiosity as we embark on this learning journey together. Fossil fuels are a fundamental part of our daily lives. From the gasoline we put in our cars to the electricity that powers our homes and businesses, fossil fuels are a primary source of energy for the modern world. But despite their importance, many people aren't fully aware of what fossil fuels are, how they are formed, or the environmental and economic consequences of relying on them. In this video, we're going to explore all of these aspects and more, breaking down what fossil fuels are, where they come from, and how they affect our planet. At their core, fossil fuels are natural fuels formed from the remains of ancient plants and animals that lived millions of years ago. Over time, heat, pressure, and chemical reactions transform these organic materials into three main types of fossil fuels: coal, oil, petroleum, and natural gas. Each of these fuels has its own unique properties, uses, and impact on the environment, but they all share a common origin. They are formed from the remains of ancient organisms that lived long before humans existed. Coal is the oldest and most abundant of the fossil fuels. It forms from the remains of plants that lived in swampy environments millions of years ago. Over time, these plant materials were buried by sediment and subjected to heat and pressure. This process, known as coalification, transformed the plant matter into peat, lignite, bituminous coal, and eventually anthracite coal, the hardest and most energy-dense form of coal. Coal is primarily used as a fuel for electricity generation, and it has been a key source of energy for industrial growth for centuries. Oil, or petroleum, is another type of fossil fuel, and it is primarily used to produce gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petrochemical products. Oil forms from the remains of tiny marine organisms, such as plankton, that sank to the ocean floor millions of years ago. As these organisms decayed, they were buried by layers of sediment, and over time, heat and pressure transformed them into oil. The oil then migrated through porous rock layers until it became trapped in oil reservoirs, where it can be extracted and refined for various uses. Natural gas is the third major fossil fuel, and it forms in a similar way to oil. It is composed primarily of methane, a gas that is produced when organic materials, such as plants and animals, decompose under high heat and pressure. Natural gas is often found alongside oil deposits, and it is used for electricity generation, heating, and as a feedstock for various industrial processes. In recent years, natural gas has gained popularity as a cleaner alternative to coal, as it produces fewer greenhouse gas emissions when burned. The process by which fossil fuels are formed is incredibly slow. It can take millions of years for organic matter to transform into the fuels we use today. This is why fossil fuels are considered non-renewable resources. Once they are used up, they cannot be replaced within a human lifespan, and in many cases, they are being consumed at a faster rate than they can be replenished. Fossil fuels have played a pivotal role in the development of human civilization. They have powered the Industrial Revolution, enabled transportation and global trade, and provided energy for everything from heating our homes to fueling our electronics. However, as our reliance on fossil fuels has grown, so too have the negative environmental impacts associated with their extraction, use, and disposal. One of the most significant environmental concerns related to fossil fuels is their contribution to climate change. When fossil fuels are burned, they release carbon dioxide, CO2, and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat from the sun, leading to a warming of the Earth's surface. This process is known as the greenhouse effect, and it is the primary driver of global warming. The burning of fossil fuels for energy is responsible for a large portion of the CO2 emissions that are contributing to climate change, which has led to rising temperatures, more extreme weather events, and sea level rise. In addition to CO2, the extraction and use of fossil fuels can also lead to other environmental problems. For example, mining coal can result in habitat destruction, water pollution, and soil degradation. Oil extraction can lead to oil spills, which can devastate marine ecosystems and wildlife. Natural gas extraction, particularly through hydraulic fracking, can contaminate groundwater, induce earthquakes, and contribute to air pollution. The environmental consequences of fossil fuel use have led many to question whether we can continue to rely on them as our primary source of energy. In recent years, there has been growing concern about the long-term sustainability of fossil fuels and their impact on the environment. As a result, there has been an increasing push for the development and use of renewable energy sources, such as solar, wind, and hydropower, which do not produce greenhouse gases and have much less environmental impact. Transitioning away from fossil fuels toward renewable energy sources is not without its challenges. Fossil fuels are deeply embedded in our economy and infrastructure, and moving away from them will require significant changes in how we produce and consume energy. However, many experts agree that it is necessary to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels in order to mitigate the impacts of climate change and create a more sustainable future. One of the biggest hurdles in reducing our use of fossil fuels is the fact that they are often the cheapest and most readily available source of energy. Many countries, especially those with large reserves of fossil fuels, rely heavily on them for economic growth and development. In addition, fossil fuels are still an essential part of many industries, including transportation, manufacturing, and agriculture. This makes it difficult to phase them out completely in the short term. Despite these challenges, there are reasons for optimism. Advances in renewable energy technology have made solar, wind, and hydropower more affordable and efficient than ever before. In many parts of the world, renewable energy is now competitive with fossil fuels in terms of cost, and as the technology continues to improve, renewable energy will likely become even more cost-effective. Another important factor is the growing recognition of the environmental and health costs associated with fossil fuel use. Air pollution from burning fossil fuels contributes to respiratory problems, cardiovascular diseases, and premature deaths, particularly in urban areas. The global community is increasingly aware of the need to transition to cleaner energy sources in order to improve public health and protect the environment for future generations. As we look to the future, there are a few important questions to consider. Can we reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and transition to cleaner, more sustainable energy sources? Will governments, businesses, and individuals take the necessary steps to address the environmental challenges posed by fossil fuel use? And how can we ensure that the transition to renewable energy is fair, equitable, and inclusive for all people around the world? The answers to these questions are still unfolding, but one thing is clear. The shift away from fossil fuels is essential for the health of our planet and the well-being of future generations. While fossil fuels have powered our modern world, it is time to move toward cleaner, more sustainable energy options. This transition will require collaboration, innovation, and a commitment to protecting the Earth for years to come. So, As we wrap up today's video, I hope you've gained a better understanding of what fossil fuels are, how they form, and their role in our world. It's important to keep in mind that while fossil fuels have provided us with many benefits, their environmental impact cannot be ignored. As we look toward the future, it's up to all of us to make informed decisions about our energy use and work together to create a more sustainable and environmentally friendly world. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all continued health and happiness. Stay curious, stay engaged, and as always, take care of yourselves and the planet. See you in the next video.